Oyez, 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 all rise. This is Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip, and we are talking about episodes 43 through 45 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders battling in Egypt.
Getting very close to the end now.
They're battling in Egypt.
They're battling.
They're doing the thing.
It's in Egypt, baby. But yeah, this is one of those times where no matter where we ended last time, we were going to end up on a cliffhanger. And so we're starting right off with episode 43, The Miasma of the Void, Vanilla Ice, Part 2. Jumping right off from where we left off last time, which is Vanilla Ice has fucking vaporized Avdol, chomped down on his sizzling arm stumps,
facing down Polnareff and Iggy, and Silver Chariot stabs the stand. It bleeds.
Yeah, so right off from the start, Vanilla Ice can hide within his stand, so he's just poking his little head out from the mouth.
Who can in turn hide invisibly in a void.
Yeah, he just tells Polnareff, okay, hey bro, Avdol is dead. He's starting to turn inside out. He's going to turn invisible again, and he says, I am so devoted to Dio. There is no way you can defeat me. And then Polnareff just shoots Silver Chariot out, and he goes, oh shit, it's really fast! Uh-oh! And yeah, even as he's becoming a very small target, turning inside out and invisible, Silver Chariot gets a stab on him.
If it bleeds, we can aura it. It's okay. Yeah. So now that we have a moment of respite as each side, prepares their next attack, Polnareff finally has time to, have emotions.
Yes.
And in his fury, he splits a pool table in half and threatens to tear the entire building down.
Still coming to terms with what has happened to Avdol, and the whole time, Iggy is just like a twitching mess, just terrified. Polnareff is thinking to himself about how he's the one who should have been to die. Avdol did the thing he just told everyone to not do. Don't sacrifice yourself to save your friends. Our goal is too important. In mourning this, he gets really frustrated, and he falls to his knees, and it's a good thing he does, because the chunk of pillar right behind him where he was previously standing just gets vaporized.
Avdol has saved him from beyond.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, the Darby fighting crew, we check in with them as they're, just following the sounds of destruction to try to catch up.
Yeah.
But I think this party split was really, smart, because the whole Polnareff Avdol connection, very clear. Talk about that a lot, but it's easier to forget that, Avdol set Iggy on his path to heroism as well.
Yeah.
So it's smart to have Iggy on this side of the split too. Good choice. Good.
Yeah. Both Iggy and Polnareff just book it because, Vanilla Ice's stand is completely invisible, just vaporizes whatever it touches when it's inside out. They just don't, what do you do against that? So you just gotta run.
Especially once it starts doing sonic spin attacks.
Yeah, it starts doing a lot of spinball stuff. As they're running, they're going down a hallway where they can see an open door. They could just run out of the mansion.
I love the hallway bit because, Polnareff and Iggy are running straight down the hallway toward us, the viewer, like Crash Bandicoot, basically, while this void ball is doing the Scooby-Doo route, going laterally from door to door on either side.
Yes, I forgot to mention that, but I wrote that down. Just Scooby-Doo shit with void ball. And they're getting closer and closer to this open door while Polnareff decides, no way am I backing down and running away.
He says as he's clearly running away toward the open door where they came in.
Yeah, I'm going to stay and fight and kill the shit out of this guy that has killed my friend. After he says that, Iggy also gains some resolve to stay and fight, which is signaled by his very tiny short tail goes from limp to straight up. And that means time to fuck shit up. And so just as they're about to reach the door to the outside, they just make a 90-degree turn, and then they start going up a set of stairs instead, which is a very good idea on their part because Vanilla Ice was just sitting there in the threshold to the outdoors, invisible, and if they just tried to run through that, they just would have died.
So then Vanilla Ice pops out of his stand halfway, which I love.
Yes!
Like, he's in like a magic floating chair, but his chair is a guy.
Yeah, there's multiple different parts throughout this fight where he pops out of his stand to varying, like, different amounts. So sometimes it almost looks like he's wearing, like, a weird hoodie or something, but it's just a guy's mouth.
Yeah.
He's poking out of.
Like, I spent so long thinking, like, what does this remind me of? What is this, like, tickling in my brain? This is, like, super extra anime Venom, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically what that is, yeah. So throughout this whole fight, I think by this point you've already heard it a couple of times. I like the sound design for the stand whenever it's in its void form and it's just cutting, holes through stuff because it's like this weird distorted, like buzzing, like noise.
It's super crunchy. It's really like over compressed. Like
Yeah.
They invented deep fried memes, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like that, but it's really good at conveying, hey, this is just a little pocket of an alternate dimension just devouring whatever it's touching. It's a cool sound. Yeah. But as Polnareff and Iggy run upstairs, when they get up to the next floor, there's already just a big hole cut through the floor. Like, Vanilla Ice doesn't have to take the stairs. He just goes up.
Yeah.
He just goes up and he's there.
So Polnareff and Iggy show their resolve with this super cool pose. Like, Polnareff is in a deep crouch with one leg stuck out, while Iggy is up on his shoulder like a parrot on good old Blackbeard, but faced the other way around, so they're watching each other's backs.
Yeah.
I would absolutely get a figurine of this. Probably not, but man. I would consider it. It'd be like...
Yeah, I could see, depending on the size, it going up to like $180. Like,
but it would look cool as hell, and I would...
It would look cool as hell.
I would want that as like a gift, maybe. But
oh, yeah. Yeah, they've got their backs. They're thinking, okay, there's no way, Vanilla Ice can get to us here. We've covered the whole room. Mm-hmm. We got our stands out. We're ready.
And it's serious time because Polnareff's nose is like perfectly aligned with Iggy's ass, and the temptation must be stifling.
Yeah, the camera angle really makes it look like, okay, Iggy's gonna fart for all time's sake. It's like, no, man, he's focused. He's got no time to fart.
Yeah, that's my favorite Indiana Jones quote. No time to fart, Dr. Jones.
So yeah, it seems like they've got the whole room covered, but the camera pans down, and right below, underneath Polnareff's foot, the stand just starts to materialize, and its mouth is completely wrapped around Polnareff's foot. It starts to grow, and Polnareff just barely notices it in time to try and stab the stand's face.
But it's too late. His toes have been bitten off.
Yeah, just his toes are in a different dimension now. Polnareff can't really run away now. He's missing all of his fucking toes on one foot. Like, his boot is, like, smoking, like, sizzling. Like, God.
So now starts Silver Chariot doing a series of just furious, reckless, unfocused attacks. Just flailing, but flailing for a purpose, because, as always, the attack is never what someone's trying to do. This is all just cover to put up a smoke screen to disguise an escape.
Mm-hmm. I like that there's a bit where these attacks from the Silver Chariot and all the destruction it's causing are so furious, it's just causing, like, the whole building to shake. Everyone can feel it. Mm-hmm. The rest of the gang and somewhere else in the mansion go like, oh shit, that must be Polnareff and Avdol. No mention of Iggy. And then there's just a shot of Dio just laying on his bed reading a book. It's like the camera violently shakes and he just doesn't give a fuck.
The neighbors are going to complain again. I shall eat them. Yes.
But yeah, the whole room has been destroyed, and through that destruction, Polnareff and Iggy are just gone. Mm-hmm. They're just hiding somewhere amidst all the rubble now. It is forcing Vanilla Ice to, like, actually come out of his alternate dimension and look around to see where they are. While he's looking around, fucking Dio's just coming down the stairs.
Yes. Dio is, like, checking in on his bud, on his final lieutenant. And maybe my favorite Dio line ever. That's quite the ruckus, Cool Ice. Yeah. Could you describe the ruckus?
As he's coming down the stairs, he's standing right behind Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice is telling him, like, oh, Lord Dio, you shouldn't, be here. I can take care of these interlopers. Dio begins to raise one arm, getting ready to fucking karate chop this dude.
Yes. We know he's vulnerable to karate chops. It's killed him before.
Right when he's lifting his arm, you can see that off the side of Dio's raised hand, there's actually sand dripping from it, because this is a decoy made by Iggy, and both Iggy and Avdol are hiding within the staircase. I think these stairs are also made out of sand.
Yes.
Yeah, and so like just the tops of their heads are poking out from a stair step.
Iggy made a Dio. Iggy's a very good boy, except Iggy doesn't know that much about Dio. He's only a baby. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Vanilla Ice knows this is not the real Dio, for one, because there's light pouring in the windows, and Dio is a vampire. He doesn't do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And second, Dio doesn't micromanage. Dio would just let Cool Ice finish the job that he was given and not come by to supervise like this.
Like he says, Dio would never come down to the second floor. Someone rings the doorbell, there's a package of delivery food, Dio doesn't go down there.
Yeah, that's Darby's job.
Someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as this decoy Dio brings his hand down for a karate chop, Vanilla Ice sees right through it. He chops this fake Dio's arm off, knowing that Dio would never come down here, the sunlight, all that shit. And so he destroys this decoy. Thankfully, because Iggy's stand is just sand, whenever these decoys he makes get destroyed, Iggy doesn't get hurt by this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, Vanilla Ice just turns into a void and just dashes through this fake Dio. Otherwise, Iggy should have just exploded. After destroying this decoy, Polnareff and Iggy get split up here. Iggy gets cornered by Vanilla Ice and gets fucking decked across his little puppy jaw.
Yeah, Iggy has tempted fate long enough just by being a living dog, and it is time to pay the piper.
Oh no, it's happening. Dogs must die.
Something that jumped out to me was Cool Ice saying that Dio is a man of his word and has never betrayed anybody. Is that true? Like, in this century at least, I think he's right.
I think so.
I don't think Dio has ever betrayed anyone that isn't one of his direct relations.
Yeah. Because also we just haven't really seen him interact much with too many other people.
That's true. That's true. Sending assassins to kill Enya may be a betrayal. Maybe that's part of her contract. We didn't see. I don't know. She might have known.
Yeah, what type of legally binding documents have they signed with Dio? Is it just all word, just spoken word? Does Dio have a lawyer? I mean, Dio went to school, so he probably knows how to write all this shit. At least for how it would work in the 1800s, but
it's all the same. He's just got to brush up on some recent case law, and he's good to go.
That's what he's
That's what
reading
the
all
book
time.
is. Yes.
That's what the books are.
That's the book. Yes. Wait a minute, you're telling me Egypt is an independent nation now? What the fuck is this?
Yeah, maybe he's got to brush up on world history, too. Just catch up with what's been going on for 100 years.
I came here because it was a protectorate. Wait a minute.
So, Iggy's getting the absolute shit kicked out of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
As Vanilla Ice shouts, quote, "I will kick you to death."
Yeah, like he is so pissed off that Iggy forced him to attack even something that's just in the image of Dio. Even that is extremely upsetting to him. And so he says Iggy doesn't deserve the quick death of being, sent to an alternate dimension. So he's just, comes completely out of his stand. He's just a guy right now, and he's just kicking the ever-loving shit out of Iggy, and I hate it.
We've seen a lot of dogs die, obviously, but this is the first time we've watched a dog suffer. It is not good.
Yeah, Iggy's just up against the wall getting the shit kicked out of him. Although I do like that Iggy, even at this point, still has fighting spirit, because like even though he is like already near death's door, can barely keep his eyes open, there's a point where Vanilla Ice stops kicking and Iggy basically just goes like, "Hey, fuck you," and he just does like this like shitty little smirk at him.
And I think he farts. I think he farts at his oppressor.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's just sitting in his pool of dog blood.
Yep.
Vanilla Ice's taunts do note that Iggy was not mentioned by Dio as one of these faithful, fight to the very last JoJo friends.
Yeah. And this whole time, Polnareff's been trying to, to help Iggy, but he's pretty far away now, and you know, he can't walk. His toes are all fucked up. So he's just been slowly crawling.
Yeah, it wouldn't be noble to watch this guy just hopping along on one foot.
Yeah. But Polnareff is able to get close enough to pull Silver Chariot out as Vanilla Ice pulls himself inside out again. I like this part. I like how Polnareff figures out how to see Vanilla Ice when he's in this alternate dimension.
Polnareff is dedicated to saving Iggy. He loves his good friend. And like,
Yeah.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure does not worry about showing a relationship grow. We just, they stop being actively hostile once the joke wears out, and then they are sworn brothers in arms. We don't care about the middle. Skip the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get to the good stuff. And so now we're doing combo attacks as Silver Chariot does all these big sweeping slashes, not to perform any sort of attack, but to create a whirlwind that turns all of Iggy's sand from the Fool into a big sand cloud that fills the room. The Void Ball cannot help but destroy things it touches, so you just follow the gap in the sand to pinpoint it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, and Polnareff has also figured out that, when Vanilla Ice is inside out in Void Ball form, he's in an alternate dimension, so he can't see what is in the normal dimension.
Yes.
So he's just floating around blind, essentially, and can only actually see where Polnareff is when he, pokes his head out of his stand's mouth. And so Polnareff basically just waits. He just follows the gap in the sand, waits for Vanilla Ice to poke his head out, and he's already there. He just skewers Vanilla Ice through his tongue and through his head and his spinal cord.
More mouth violence. Always the mouth violence. This is literally the first real fight in All Noah Zero.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was like a 2000s or early 2010s mech show that's okay. But
all right. I haven't even heard of this one.
if you wanted to see the logic of stand fights applied to military sci-fi,
Okay.
this is the show for you.
Okay.
Every third episode where they actually have a mech fight is for you.
All right.
So yeah, episode 3, there is giant mech that is covered in this impenetrable barrier. Munitions can't get through, that laser weapons can't damage, and like this mech just walks through fucking buildings. It's just like the Void, right?
Okay.
And so the way they beat it is like the special pilot boy figures, well, that thing's fucking blind. If our lasers can't get through, then visible light can't either. So,
oh, man.
and then they bait it onto a bridge that falls into a river, and they watch where the water of the river isn't getting instantly vaporized. Like, that is the one point where the barrier isn't, because that's where his antenna is to listen to his spotters. Stab that.
Okay.
It's
Wow,
really
yeah.
cool.
That does sound really cool.
That is the high point of the entire show, and yes, it's literally this.
Damn. It's always fun whenever you watch something, especially if it's something you've watched before JoJo, and then you go back and it's like, oh shit, that's just from JoJo. It happens so much. So yeah, Vanilla Ice has gotten a sword through his mouth, through his fucking spinal cord.
And so Silver Chariot just wiggles it around.
Yeah, he fucking just wiggles the sword around to just stir everything up there.
As disgusting as it is ineffective, it does nothing.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice doesn't give a fuck. You can tell he's in a lot of pain, but he says, this doesn't hurt. I'm good. So yeah, even though he's got this thing straight through his fucking face, one, it's impressive that he can talk with a sword through his tongue.
Yes.
But yeah, he says, he is so devoted to Dio that he doesn't have time to feel pain, and he can't die either. And so he just grabs Silver Chariot by the throat, and then also grabs Silver Chariot's wrist. Just starts beating on him, trying to crush Polnareff's arm. So Polnareff is just forced to pull the sword out.
As he begins getting dismantled piece by piece, like he's got a broken arm. He gets a couple fingers torn off. We're going back into the Void Ball, and he gets a chunk of his entire thigh just obliterated.
Yeah. Oh man, it's real messed up. Just see, because it's like it's his stand that gets the thigh torn out first. And so you just see Polnareff, and just a chunk of his thigh just ejects from his body.
Despite clearly preferring a creamy brie, he's becoming Swiss cheese instead.
So yeah, Polnareff's getting really fucked up. He's just getting whole chunks of him just carved off.
While the void ball of ice is just tearing the mansion apart blindly. Absolutely furious attacks, decimating this room, hoping to hit Polnareff in the crossfire in this random motion, while he's like dance dodging, or rather Silver Chariot is doing like pirouettes and cartwheels and shit.
Yeah, that part's animated pretty well. It looks cool.
With Iggy barely alive.
Yeah. Polnareff himself just is basically immobilized. He's just stuck laying on the floor. He uses Silver Chariot to grab Iggy and pull him back to himself. What Vanilla Ice has started doing, since he's just going blind, is he's starting from the outer perimeter of the room, and he's just going in a spiral pattern, just closing in closer and closer to the center of the room, so that no matter what, he's eventually going to get Polnareff.
Literally circling in on them. He's got a pattern like he's playing Battleship, basically. He's going to find you.
Yeah. So Polnareff is trying to think of a plan on how to get out of this. All of the different ideas he has get listed out on screen.
So Polnareff spends a few minutes like seeing the threat coming and trying to figure out what he can and can't do, and it leads to this incredible moment. Here are two consecutive lines of dialogue said aloud. First, "I can't possibly dodge him like this," followed immediately by, "Somehow I dodged it." That's bullshit. Fuck you. But I'm very upset at the possible ramifications on his future cartooning career. All these hand injuries he's sustained.
Oh God, yeah. Speedwagon Foundation's got to have some robot fingers.
But can robot fingers really recreate the soul of a cigar-smoking cat?
I don't know.
So yes, Polnareff's to-do list, you were saying.
Yeah, this gets typed out on the screen, and it says, select the best answer from 3 options. 1, the handsome Polnareff will devise the perfect counterattack just in the nick of time. 2, his friends will come and save him. 3, he won't be able to dodge the attack. Life's a bitch.
So welcome to Choose Your Own Bizarre Adventure.
And so Polnareff thinks to himself, boy, I would really love if number 2 would happen right about now.
Like, this is his actual thought process. He makes mental lists and numbers them.
But he thinks number 2 isn't likely to happen. They only enter the mansion 10 minutes ahead of us. They could still be in a fight. Who knows if they're even still alive?
Silver Chariot is trying to pull him out of the path to safety, but Silver Chariot's not a particularly strong stand physically.
Yeah.
And especially with all the beating he's already gotten, just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know which number that is, but it's not working regardless.
Yeah, he's trying number 1 and it ain't working. He's able to at least move Iggy outside of the perimeter already like destroyed by Vanilla Ice.
And so the narrator declares number 3, life's a bitch. And I guess the narrator never liked Polnareff very much because he sounds very excited about this.
Yeah, narrator really just wanted to say life's a bitch. Iggy is now, at least for now, safe. He's kind of hiding in the path already carved into the floor.
Yes.
And Polnareff is still in the center, soon to be vaporized. But Iggy is, with the last of his strength, trying to stand up and conjure his stand once more to try and save Polnareff.
He can't even keep the fool coherent. At one point, he stumbles and falls down, and blood explodes out of his mouth when his chin hits the ground.
Yeah. Polnareff is telling Iggy, hey, fucking stay put. If you try to conjure your stand, your ribs are going to I think you have broken ribs. They might puncture your lungs even deeper, and then you're going to die. So just stay put, rest up.
They are competing to see which one survives, which one saves the other so that they will survive and tell my story. Stand users live for the drama.
They do. They love it.
Always.
And so Polnareff, looking at Iggy, says, I guess Vanilla Ice just wanted the win more than I did. And as the void starts barreling up from behind him, he just basically just waves at Iggy and just says, like, see you later, bud, and appears to get vaporized by Vanilla Ice as a single one of his broken heart earrings just falls and clatters on the floor.
Strains of organ music are
Yes.
just streaming through. The stand has grown gigantic, filling the screen with this light as Polnareff ascends into heaven, essentially.
Yeah.
Fiend.
As we see, just like Iggy's wide open eyes, just, watching Polnareff get vaporized. And that's the end of episode 43.
Which brings us to episode 44, The Miasma of the Void, Vanilla Ice, Part 3.
Yeah.
And we begin on Joseph Joestar, Stand Detective.
There's a big hole in the wall.
Yeah, he sees the billiard table split in half and thinks, there might have been a stand fight right around here.
Whoa. I think Avdol and the others had a brush with evil. So yeah, he's just commanding his grandson and just like, hey, punch through these walls. What's going on over here? So
meanwhile, back in the fight proper, Vanilla Ice displays an understanding of liability that I don't think would stand up in court. He is blaming all of his wounds and injuries on Avdol.
Yeah.
Because Avdol selflessly saved Polnareff at the cost of his own life. So everything Polnareff has done to him really is the result of Avdol's nobility and selflessness.
As he comes out of his stand, blood is just pouring out of him.
Yes. He's not in a good way.
Yeah, but he's still good enough to fight. He resolves that, okay, well, I'm done with Polnareff. Time to go kill the other three. But as he says that, a whole bunch of blood starts dripping from the ceiling. Mm-hmm. And he looks up, and Polnareff is glued to the ceiling with sand.
Yeah. It's weird to think that when Sam Raimi did this scene, he had more restraint. You don't really associate Sam Raimi and restraint.
Yeah.
But yeah, Polnareff is up on the ceiling, getting a fool hug.
Iggy smiles one more time, knowing that he's saved Polnareff, and then coughs up a fucking 8 gallons of blood all at once and appears to die.
Yeah, you've heard of a death rattle? How about a death sneeze? That's what the dog does.
Yeah. As that happens, the fool hug that Polnareff is getting begins to dissolve, and he falls from the ceiling. And this is when Polnareff knows that Iggy has died, because he can't feel his life energy from the sand anymore. So as he falls and shouts Iggy's name, he comes down on Vanilla Ice and just skewers him straight through the brain.
Yes.
And doesn't stop there.
No.
He grabs Silver Chariot's sword and twists it so hard that he completely snaps Vanilla Ice's fucking neck.
Polnareff is a bit of a dirty fighter.
Yeah.
But Silver Chariot has always been so poised and noble and this exaggerated, elegant form. To watch Silver Chariot go brutal is a big shift. This leaves an impact.
Yeah. And so we get the requisite Polnareff remembering how much he loved Iggy, even when he was being shitty to him at the start with his more fucked up dog face.
Yeah, it's only been 2 weeks since we talked about an Iggy montage, but to be fair, it's been 5 weeks. Yeah, if you were going episode by episode as they aired.
Yeah. And so as Polnareff is looking at, Iggy's lifeless body, as we have seen before, a couple of times when people die, or at least good people usually die, you can see their spirit just kind of smoke rising off of their body.
But in this case, it's not smoke. It is the sand left behind by the fool. And so out the window, the stream of sand goes, and it coalesces as it rises into the clouds into the form of Avdol with Iggy on his shoulder.
Yep.
And they're smiling and that's a sweet tribute.
Yeah. Or rather,
where's the Avdol montage though? Where's
right?
All the fun Avdol moments?
Yeah. Where's all those times he did his little tisk tisk yes I am bit he did for 2 weeks?
Where's his audio camouflage against Geb?
Yeah. Although the smoke, the tribute to them happens a little bit later, but yeah, as Avdol is looking at Iggy's lifeless body, Vanilla Ice gets up again.
He doesn't just get up, he snaps straight up like the fucking Undertaker.
Yeah.
And he aims to keep the streak alive, motherfucker.
So yeah, Vanilla Ice gets up and is leaping towards, Polnareff from behind. But Polnareff, he already knows this shit's going to happen again. And so Silver Chariot does a pretty cool, like, really fast rapid stab, but like backwards, like behind him without even looking.
Yeah.
He's stabbing Vanilla Ice with such force that he's causing him to like ping pong off the walls and ceiling.
And Polnareff's quote as he launches this like no look 360 no scope is I figured out what you are, cool ice. Oh. See, it seems that Ice has become so resilient because Dio's blood made him a vampire. But guess what? Sun's up, motherfucker. Time to die.
Yep. He cuts up a bunch of boards covering up a window. Even Vanilla Ice hasn't really realized that he has been slowly transforming into a vampire during the fight. And so, like a dumbass and full of rage, he just keeps trying to run into the sun, and he keeps just destroying more and more of his body.
But he can't not go after Polnareff because Polnareff is mocking Dio. His commitment to Dio is so strong that he has to make like the most direct move against him. Can't like step around the direct beam of sunlight. So enraged is he. And like the final blow is just cool as shit.
Oh, it's so good.
Silver Chariot gives him a gentle little shoulder bump. So he loses his balance just enough to tumble forward into the beam of light from the window. And that's it. That's all she wrote.
Yep.
The ice is melted.
Yeah. And yeah, this is once Vanilla Ice is defeated. Yeah, this is where we get the like golden smoke out the window materializing into Avdol and Polnareff. But yeah, it's good. I like the way they go out there. But yeah, goddamn. Two of the main cast are dead now.
We thought Hangman was scary because he killed one guy. He didn't even kill that guy.
He didn't even kill that guy. Fucking Vanilla Ice took 2 dudes out. He took out a third of the main cast on his own.
Dio, you have to kill everyone now or you're getting shown up by your own dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Vanilla Ice, he just one-hit kills one of the main cast. Avdol doesn't even get to fight back. I mean, he saves people, but he's just done in one hit.
So Polnareff is also focused on the threat of Dio and is like, well, time to keep going.
Yeah,
dude, how are you going to climb stairs? You're so fucked up.
Yeah, Polnareff takes time to shed one tear as he, clenches his fists, and the screen pauses, and we get those cards you usually get for when enemy stand users are defeated, where it says, like retired or defeated or, out of commission or whatever, but it just says Avdol deceased, Iggy deceased. So while all that crazy drama is happening, let's check in on Suzy Q.
This isn't necessarily a hard cut because it is the mid-episode break. We get an eye-catch title card of the Fool for one last shot.
Yeah.
Why not Vanilla Ice's stand?
I don't know.
Vanilla Ice's stand is never even named in the show.
Right. What is the name of that stand?
It marks a complete inversion from, the first half where we know all the stands, but some of the users are like, who cares? We'll name them 10 years later for a fighting game.
Yeah. Right. His stand is named Cream.
After the blues / psychedelic / prog rock band that had Eric Clapton in it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Not the Wu-Tang song. That would be later.
Yeah. God, yeah, I completely forgot that they just don't even name the stand.
Not in dialogue, they don't. Yeah. So yes, in Japan, it has been 43 days since we last saw Japan properly, aside from, the occasional cutaway check-in. And now Suzy Q wants some goddamn soba.
Yeah, she's been being driven by her butler or personal assistant, whatever, Rosas?
And accompanied by unnamed Speedwagon man.
A Speedwagon guy with a face severe enough that he looks like he should be very important.
He's the third brother of the two helicopter Speedwagon men.
Yeah, that's what he looks like, actually, yeah. So yeah, Suzy Q, being driven around by these two guys, she's like, ooh, stop. I gotta go get soba. This place looks great. She's
here, hold my turtle for me.
Yeah, hold my pet turtle that she's just carrying around.
This turtle, never explained, never named.
No,
what?
She's just got a turtle.
You couldn't get a turtle sitter?
It's her security turtle.
This turtle is the size of like a rugby ball. It's a big turtle.
It is a big ass turtle. So yeah, Susie Q gets out of the car. She's got to have Soba at this place she's set her eyes on. She's got a little video camera. She's being a little bit of an obnoxious tourist and filming everything, including pointing the camera at homeless people just trying to get a nap on the dang road.
This is literal poverty tourism. Like Mark from Rent is 2 blocks away on his international vacation doing the same dang thing.
Yeah. As she steps into the Soba restaurant, the Speedwagon guy talks to Rosas about like, hey, you should really tell Susie Q that like her daughter is in a real bad way. It's like Susie Q has decided we're going on a trip to Japan to see my daughter because she just thinks right now that her daughter has pneumonia, which is bad enough.
A 43-day case of pneumonia.
Yeah, that's
really bad, actually. That's terrible.
That's bad. That's very bad. So yeah, Rosas is, as he usually is whenever we see him right now, just sweating bullets and just... I think we said this last time. He really feels like he has picked up the mantle of Speedwagon himself, or maybe even Smokey a little bit, and how much he just worries and grieves for the Joestars.
Yeah, but that's all he's picked up from them. He is not cool in any way.
No, yeah.
So we learn about how he's been with the family for 30 years. He reminisces about like driving little Holly to grade school.
Yeah.
And so he does not have the heart to tell Susie the truth about how dire this situation is.
Yeah.
So we have a fantasy cutaway to how dire the situation is as Holly's body is being strangled by these stand vines that are invisible to everyone watching them. I don't know if there are any stand-using doctors. Like,
yeah.
I mean, maybe it's good she can't see the truth because these are some very creepy vines. It looks disturbing.
Oh boy, the shot showing her getting wrapped up by the vines is real horny. I didn't need to see Jotaro's mom's ass, but I get where Kakyoin is coming from now. Good Lord.
Let me give you a relevant quote about this. Quote, in hindsight, it was a little too erotic, and I regret this choice.
Yes!
That's from series director Naokatsu Tsuda.
Yeah. You're getting like an under ass and under boob shot? Come on. Good Lord. Rosas is like, okay, are we extra super duper sure that killing Dio will actually get rid of the curse? And this Speedwagon guy's just like, yep, that's how it works.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. We're good.
I don't know how much expertise Speedwagon has in dispelling curses, but it sounds like they've done it before.
Yeah, there is some other bad dude that developed a stand all of a sudden, which cursed their descendants, and so they murdered him, and the descendants got better. That's the only way he can be that sure is if we've done this scenario before.
Yeah. So Susie Q is still having a good old time just videotaping everything. She starts videotaping a guy who appears to be like a Yakuza thug, and he gets real pissed off.
I love that this is, we're in late 80s Japan, and this dude is straight out of a hyper-violent OVA.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't quite look like it, obviously, because he looks like a contemporary TV anime, but his behavior is absolutely like, if you look at me, I will destroy you.
Yeah. And he's getting real threatening at Susie Q. So Rosas comes in with a big ass kick. He knows how to fight, and he fucks this dude up.
I was expecting him to bring out his stand, a Buick, but no, he just kicks him in the face.
Yeah, that would be his stand. Maybe that's the car they're driving right now. That's his stand.
Yeah.
But yeah, he still cannot bring to tell Susie Q about this. So, okay, we're just going to drive her to Holly's home.
Rosas is bringing the November pain. There we go. How about that?
Yeah. And the closer and closer they get to the Cujo home, the more and more he just worries and just the burden he is bearing on his shoulders is so great. But before he can even tell her, Susie Q already knows. Like, she just says, I know you're worrying about something. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that my husband and my grandson are out there fighting for some reason. And it's to save Holly.
It took her entire life, but Susie Q has figured out a thing.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her.
Good job. Yeah, she seems to have known for a while, and she has basically just kept up the cheerful attitude for the sake of everyone else, basically.
Imagine you're reading this week to week. Imagine you are a 1992 a Shonen Jump reader.
Yeah.
And after that just brutal, exhilarating fight, we have fallen comrades. Immediately you cut to Soba adventures and a guy on the sidewalk that just doesn't want to be videotaped and wondering, where the fuck is Dio? I want Dio.
I can never remember if this is an anime exclusive thing or if it was in the manga.
It is not listed as such on the wiki, which I've been using as my guide. I don't know if that's as comprehensive as it might want to be, but it is.
I feel it's been pretty comprehensive so far, at least when I've checked up on my hardcovers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's they finally arrived at the Kujo home. Suzy Q is there finally to meet her daughter, and they embrace and hug, and this is so beautiful that Rosas just cannot help but stand outside and cry.
Of course. I love Susie's line about how Joseph has never broken a promise in 50 years.
Yes.
Which sounds a lot like saying that Dio is perfectly honorable and has never betrayed anyone ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's never broken a promise to you, but he will swindle anyone else.
Mm-hmm. And with that, we get back to the rest of the boys who are still alive, running through the mansion, and you'd think Dio is up next, but we've got one more freak to deal with.
One more freak with a backstory. There's this little weird dude in like a tiger skin print hat.
He's just this little goblin guy. He's got his ear to the floor listening for the Joestars running around.
He is sure that, the last 3 stand users have been incompetent. Billie Jean, you might have a point there, but the other 2 guys seem like pretty heavy hitters.
Yeah. He's basically just remembering when the older kids at school bullied him, essentially, because they all have stands and he doesn't. He's just a vampire. Yeah. He's just a shitty vampire.
And this flashback is also the only time Billie Jean speaks.
Yes, yeah. In silhouetted Billie Jean, Joseph and Jotaro and Kakyoin ascend some stairs. This woman comes out from a door, like terrified, like, oh, please have mercy. Don't kill me. Don't suck my blood, all this stuff.
Oh, look, lunch. What are you doing out of the kitchen? Get back in there. Get back in the fridge. Dio wants a frozen treat.
Yeah. She just falls to her knees and all this stuff, just begging for mercy. And Joseph's just like, oh, hold on, calm down, miss. We're not going to hurt you, all this stuff. And they have already immediately caught on that this lady is clearly a trap. It's just the little goblin man.
Yeah, like, it's okay, we're good guys. And then Star Platinum just brutalizes this woman, just destroys her face. Like,
yeah.
We're good at punching evil.
Yeah, and this lady is just the vampire. His special power is just that on the back of his head, he's got a lady's face, and he can just twist his legs and arms around to face the other way.
But he doesn't do it perfectly well because the tell was his thumbs were on the wrong side of his lady hands.
Yeah. He's just like, how did you know? No one sees through my disguise. Nah, dude, you're dumb. Your hands are fucked up.
They were trained to look at weird thumbs on the wrong side of hands.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing for like a third of their journey.
Yeah, and that lady only had one messed up hand. Both of your hands are wrong. Like,
so anyhow, this part where there's someone with essentially 2 heads fused together in one body, I cannot help but be reminded of Plato's Symposium and Aristophanes' account of the origin of love, where, people used to have 2 heads until we were split in half by the gods for our caprice and hubris.
Right, yeah.
And that the act of love is the recognition of finding our other half and reuniting.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'm just built different like that.
So this little goblin man... They all realize he's a vampire, but at this point, the power of of foes has escalated so high that just a vampire on its own is just nothing anymore. It's like, this guy's a shitty little vampire. That means he's immortal, so we can just beat him up as much as we want. They just punch him through 18 walls and stuff and just go like, hey, just lead us to Dio.
It's nice for a dungeon to have a little like last chance way to grind XP before the boss.
Yeah, this is a level 1 goblin. Please don't punch me.
If you just go around the corner, there's a little potion stand too.
Yeah. So yeah, Jotaro beats him up a bunch and convinces him to lead them all to where Dio's lair is. The credits roll, but that's not the end. We get a little post-credit scene here.
Yes.
as we see Polnareff doing some first aid, tying up his destroyed thigh and toes enough so that he's able to walk again.
Yeah, he's shredded bits of fabric from Dio's very good curtains.
Yeah.
His apparently medicinal curtains.
Only the best for Dio.
And so, yeah, Polnareff's practically good as new. And as he looks up to the top of the staircase, there is Dio in all of his glory with a fog machine running at full blast, baby.
Yeah.
Dio's all about the aesthetic.
He is. He's got it's dark here, but he's made sure to have one light set up behind him, just to give off the right atmosphere and stuff. Yeah.
This is our first clearest so far look at Dio's like new look, new costume. His, tiny little earring below his 3 moles on that ear. Mm-hmm. His pants situation.
Yeah. His pants kind of got the waist of them are kind of weird. His pants don't meet up.
His pants look like he's constantly taking them off.
Yeah. So he seems to be kind of wearing like a full body like bathing suit almost, with pants that have such a wide crotch on them that there's no way to button them or zip them up.
Yes.
They're just open.
Hell yes.
And he's got like green suspenders that are just hanging on the waist that he's not actually using. But yeah, that's the end of episode 44, which leads to episode 45, Dio's World Part 1. Which, yeah, we're starting up on the stairs with Dio and Polnareff.
The smoky stairs. As Dio and Polnareff trade tough guy talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Polnareff is no longer scared of Dio. He has conquered his weakness of being taken over by the flesh bud 6 months ago. And Dio is doing his thing, basically just trying to pull off his charisma checks again, and just recruit Polnareff again to his side.
Polnareff is not having it. He's continually disrespecting the curtains that have saved his life. But yeah, fuck them anyway. They're Dio curtains. Fuck those curtains.
He just keeps spitting blood all over the curtains. Polnareff, saying, I have no fear of you anymore. And Dio's just like, okay, well, if you want to fucking come at me, then try and climb these stairs, dude. And so Polnareff takes one step up the stairs, and Dio laughs going and says like, oh, I guess you are scared of me because you've gone down the stairs. And then Polnareff looks down and goes like, what the fuck? And he's gone down 2 steps.
Que surprise. But he doesn't just take a step up the stairs. No, the camera zooms in and like spins around his foot. So we see it from every angle, like fucking Matrix bullet time as he climbs the stairs, using some of the same like CGI camera tricks from like, say, the police station back in the first episode of Stardust Crusaders.
Yeah.
But essentially, the secret of Dio's stand is gaslighting.
Yeah, basically.
Like, this going down after climbing up thing happens enough times that Polnareff does think he's losing his mind.
Yeah, like, before, there have been, like, cuts where it's just like, oh, he clearly takes a step up, but now he's down. But there's, like, just a single uncut shot where you see Polnareff run up several steps, and then he just teleports back down several steps. Like, he just cannot get up the stairs.
And so it is time to reveal the world. That is right. Dio's stand, the world, and our final tarot card. Araki's tarot art is like one of the closest to traditional tarot depictions. The feminine figure in the middle, an Araki original, but the 4 beasts, one in each corner, is like straight up like that. There it is. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But the world stands for assured success, so pretty rough thing to fight. Recompense, voyage, route, emigration, flight, and change of place.
Okay. Some of those things fit with Dio, yeah.
Yeah. This is both Dio and what we've seen so far of this thing's powers pretty well. Like, that's it. That's the world, baby.
Yeah. Polnareff is starting to get scared now just because he can't climb the fucking stairs. But yeah, Dio stands up and he pulls out the world. You don't get a completely full view of it because it's hovering over him a bit here.
It's a golden superhero with an anvil helmet and a jetpack.
Yeah, so it looks like a jetpack, but so the world kind of has like a diver theme. The jetpack is actually an oxygen tank, and it's got tubes going up to its neck, and it's got a couple other things on its design that we'll see later on that, it's kind of like a diver's like get up, which I think is meant
like a holy diver, like Ronnie James Dio.
There you go. I guess there's that. I always thought it was also partially due to the fact that Dio was underwater for 100 years.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like a golden superhero, gray skin, extremely buff.
Obviously.
Even more muscular, honestly, than Star Platinum. It's got huge fucking shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as Polnareff and Dio are about to do their stand fight.
But before they can engage in their fight, we must have Dio's philosophy corner.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Where Dio lays out that all people want is peace of mind. And to get peace of mind, that drives us to money, to fame, to dominance. So, hey, why not join me? I'm incredibly dominant, and you will be too. The benefits are amazing.
Yeah. And there is a moment of weakness in Polnareff where he almost like buys into it again, where he's thinking to himself, "Oh my God, am I seriously falling for this? He's so hot."
And that is when he is saved by Grandpa.
Yay! Yeah, the rest of the gang appears. They punch a big old hole through the wall. It shoots sunlight into the room. Not quite enough to hit Dio, unfortunately.
But it is like the light of deliverance. Like we have... Polnareff's about to make it much more explicit, but there's a real light and shadow symbolic dichotomy here.
Yeah.
Our three heroes come back from the basement, do a simultaneous tough guy point.
Yes, yeah.
Which is fucking awesome. Way cooler than their simultaneous iced tea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. Oh, I should mention, right before this happens, when Polnareff and Dio are about to charge at each other, even in the English dub, Dio shouts repeatedly, "Muda, muda, 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 muda," which is a localization choice I like, where in part one, there's a couple times where Dio shouts repeatedly, "Useless, useless, useless." That is the translation of like "muda, muda," basically, like it, yeah, it is just a thing. It is a catchphrase of Dio to shout, "It's futile, it's useless," over and over and over again, but it rolls off better when you say "muda" instead of "useless." So they just kept it the Japanese word for part 3.
It's interesting that they do that because like in the English subtitles, they do translate it to useless.
Yeah. But
only once instead of like over and over again.
Yeah. And it's basically Dio's version of JoJo just going ora, because he does muda a lot when he punches and stuff.
Right.
That also reminds me of the English dub. There is a thing that's basically completely removed that is like a kind of, I guess, a catchphrase of Dio's in part 1, which is just spelled WRYYYYYYY. In the Japanese dub, it's just like a weird shriek he does, but it doesn't really work in English, so they just got rid of it.
Right.
Yeah, that is like a JoJo meme a lot for Dio specifically. But anyways, everyone does a cool ass point. They point.
And so Dio bounces. He skips out of here. He knows he's not welcome in the coolest fucking way.
Yeah, man. It's like a wire.
He just sort of leans back and then gets yanked away in reverse.
Yeah. It almost feels like his stand just grabbed him by the neck and pulled him.
It looks really cool.
Yeah. And everyone's about to give chase, but Polnareff stops them and goes like, "Whoa, hey, hold on. I saw the world briefly. I have no fucking idea what its power actually is, but here's what happened to me. I can't go up the stairs."
He's so focused on delivering this little bit of actionable intel that he has so they can be as prepared as possible, that someone has to remind him, "Hey, weren't you with 2 of our other best friends?"
Yeah, and he just says, they didn't make it, they died, and everyone just has a moment where they react to that. They just have to process that briefly before they go, "Okay, we can't stick around here. The sun is starting to set now, and that's really fucking bad. So while we still got daylight, let's go after Dio."
You think Arabia Fats could have killed Dio if he wanted to?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Holy shit, that's like the best power to use against Dio. Just fill the fucking room with your sun. Whoa. God damn, man.
Arabia Fats, like, if you're doing power rankings based on who could beat who, secret best stand user,
oh my
Arabia
God.
Fats.
I never thought about how that would kill Dio in an instant. That's great. That rules.
So on instructions from their little loser vampire,
who they keep in a bag
only
now.
referred to as loser. Yes, they keep him in a bag. They call him loser. I'm like, what's his Japanese name? It's just the Japanese word for idiot or something.
Yeah.
Like he does not have a proper name.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh yeah, Dio's room is in the top of the tallest tower. Obviously, it's fucking Dio.
Uh-huh.
So they go on up, and inside, it is seriously Castlevania as all get out. Like,
oh, yeah.
We got our stone, we got our torches, we got our tastefully monogrammed casket in the middle of this large circular room.
Yeah. I don't think we brought this up yet, but the first several Castlevania games, their setting and plot pretty closely mirrors the 3 first parts of JoJo.
So we have this point of view camera going all around the room in this like CGI environment, which directly connects visually Dio's mansion to the boat that dredged him up. I like this as a directorial choice. Very good.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, they're surrounding one side of this of Dio's coffin here. The little loser vampire is terrified, and he is groveling to Dio.
Oh yes,
saying like, "Hey, I brought these guys here only because I know you can easily kill them. Oh please, Lord Dio, give these guys the most gruesome death." As he slowly opens up the coffin.
But before he gets the chance, before he even moves toward the coffin, we have to have one more final moment. We have to like hit the save point, the point of no return.
Yeah.
As everyone gets a little internal monologue. It's the in their own words version, essentially, of what the narrator applied to them before entering the mansion.
Yeah.
So Joseph's is all about how his like fucking bedtime stories were phantom blood, and he knew that it was his fate to rid the world of Dio, and JoJo's with him on this. He's always known that Dio was out there lurking for him. No, he fucking didn't. We've been over this.
Yeah.
He's only known about Dio for 7 weeks, old man. Stop lying. And Kakyoin is again talking about like overcoming his fear and being strengthened through this adversity to finally, I don't know, achieve self-actualization through vampire murder.
Yeah.
And Polnareff has sort of pivoted to more like bearing the burden of his fallen comrades, Avdol and Iggy. And JoJo doesn't fucking talk ever. JoJo's
Nope.
mystique remains in his silence.
Yep. And so once that happens, yeah, it's time for the little gremlin to open up the coffin. And, the tension is building. He's opening it very slowly. We're about to see Dio in this coffin. And, we got 4 stand users about to fuck him up. And as the lid opens up, we see a silhouette inside. And then the little gremlin's in the coffin and his jaw has been cut in half. And he's just...
And we all have a moment like, wait, what was that? But I'm pretty... What was that?
Yeah. Like the gremlin guy, like it's one shot of him opening it and then just being inside the coffin already. And he's just like, what the fuck happened? Help me. Oh my God, what's going on? And yeah, everyone's freaking out because everyone had their eyes on this the entire time. It's just one moment he's there, one moment he's in the coffin.
Every time we get one of these small demonstrations of whatever the world can do, a different character is like, it's definitely not super speed.
Yeah, everyone's thinking it's super speed at first, but now everyone at the same time basically gets a chill up their spine, like they're all about to die. Mm-hmm. And so they jump out the fucking window.
This daring leap through the window at golden hour. It's gorgeous. It's like really well composed. The lighting is just right. And Dio's mansion is so tall that this counts as skydiving because we are having full conversations on the way down.
Polnareff was the last to leave. He was almost like frozen in place as he just felt something coming to kill him. He gets yanked out by the neck by Hermit Purple. It just like wraps around him and just pulls him out. As they're falling, they all grab onto like little handholds on the outside of the mansion.
Joseph compares the feeling he felt,
yes.
the fear, the presence of Dio to, quote, it felt like someone shoving an icicle up my ass, which he hasn't experienced in like 15 years now.
When he said that, it made me think about the Hamon icicle ladder trick he did.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe that happened. Maybe we just didn't see it happen on camera, but maybe he got an icicle up the butt at that point.
Caesar's like, use your hands.
Yeah.
All right, my hands.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, now that everyone's outside, they're concerned because the sun is very quickly setting. They're losing their advantage here in the fight.
Yeah, the vampire can now come out in, his native habitat, nighttime.
Yeah. Joseph is thinking that it's time to retreat and wait until day breaks again before going after Dio. Polnareff is having none of that. We're having a bit of a similar argument to back in the Hangman fight. Polnareff is so dead set on his way of taking out the opponent that he sets out on his own and breaks from the group.
I mean, meanwhile, Joseph is here, dedicated because, his closest friend and companion taught him you only assault a vampire's lair in the daytime, neglecting to remember that Caesar died when he followed that advice.
Yes.
But that's not important.
But yeah, Jotaro's just like, let Polnareff do his own thing. You can't stop him when he's like this. Everyone's starting to try and formulate a plan on how to take out Dio.
The plan is essentially to escape, survive, and learn Dio's powers through evasion.
Yeah.
Whatever doesn't kill us is information we can use.
Yeah. And so by this point, it is now officially nighttime. Dio's out. He's perched on top of his mansion, just scouting stuff out like Assassin's Creed style. Kakyoin and Joseph are working together, and they just pay a dude off to take his truck.
Yeah, he has incredible comic timing. He has a very silly voice, but he's like, hey, you can't buy my truck. My truck's not for sale. He sees the fat wad. It's all yours. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And so Joseph and Kakyoin are just driving around in this truck trying to get distance and outrun Dio.
Meanwhile, Polnareff is staking out Dio, waiting for him to emerge, for the hunt. And so this is all JoJo's plan, essentially. He let Polnareff go off on his own so that they would have essentially a pincer maneuver.
Yeah.
That while Dio would be hunting one team, he would in turn be hunted in this punchy, sneaky team split.
Yeah, I like it. So yeah, JoJo just comes up behind Polnareff and is just like, hey, I got your back, bro. Let's do this. And so, yeah, Dio catches eye of the truck and starts following them.
As he's strutting through Cairo in his cape.
Yeah, his fucking
amazing
red like magenta cape. Because, he's got this new look. He's got this black full body suit with the yellowish orange pants and crop top jacket on top.
Tom of Finland ass bulge, by the way.
Yes, yeah.
Dio is packing.
Dio's packing heat in part 3, man. So he's also got a little highlight of green. He's wearing knee pads. The knee pads are green and they're hearts. They're little hearts. And he's got the same on his elbows, I believe.
You think that's why Darby and Ice were all hearted up? It's just the uniform. If you're going to stay in the house, you got to have hearts.
And so also he's wearing a green, not tiara, but it's a green headband that also has a big heart right on the center of his forehead. And he's got those golden, multiple golden rings all up on his wrist, 5 of them. He's got those. But yeah, he's got this new design, but he's also right now got this big cape on him that almost feels reminiscent of a part of his part 1 design by the end of it.
Yeah. In here, we also get a interstitial card for the world with all question marks for stats, no surprise. But it is our clearest look, clearer than in the earlier scene of what the world itself looks like.
Yeah. So Dio's just walking about in public now. He's in no hurry. He's Dio. He does the Terminator walk everywhere, but with style, of course, hand on one hip. But he stops to just think out loud about cars. Back 100 years ago, we just had horses.
Quote, the automobile, such impressive power and speed.
Yeah.
This is Blade 3. This is Dracula walking around New York in Blade 3, getting tattoos and shit.
Oh, man. I tweeted this a while ago, but when I watched Blade 3, it was a TV version of it that had, family-friendly swears, edit everywhere. I saw the video somewhere. It's real good. They changed motherfucker to drumstick.
Oh my God, how does That doesn't work at all. That doesn't work at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's real bad. Maybe I'll repost that on Twitter sometime. There's a bit where Ryan Reynolds is like being, tortured by other vampire people, and he tells the lady vampire, like, suck on his dick, and in the edit, it's, why don't you take a sugar frosted chum off my hoo-hoo?
That could have been the real line. Blade 3's kind of like that.
Yeah, the little vampire Pomeranian or whatever. But anyways.
So Dio finds, exactly the car he's looking for. I guess it's sort of picked for him just because he wants to pick a fight. There's this bodyguard representing U.S. Senator Phillips and saying, hey, you get away from the senator's car here, you interestingly dressed, clearly a more important character than I.
Yeah, Dio just grabs this dude by the wrist and just completely twists this guy's entire arm around.
Yeah, until he has a brand new joint.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucked up. Even when it's kind of grayed over a little bit, it's fucked up.
That's not the way arms are supposed to go.
Yeah. And so Dio just gets in the backseat of the car where the senator is already in. And the senator, seeing that his bodyguard's arm has been completely twisted around, goes like, oh, kids these days, so full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah. So this is Senator Phillips, apparently named for Wilson Phillips, a band most recently seen in the film Bridesmaids.
Okay. I was wondering what the Bridesmaids connection was going to be when you tweeted about that.
Most famous for their song Hold On.
Okay. Should bring up, in the OVA of this from the 90s, this character is voiced by Charles Martinet.
Has he played anyone other than the Mario characters after he got the Mario job? Because it seemed like he had a pretty standard career pre-Mario, just doing all sorts of things for all sorts of places, but you never hear him not be an Italian Jumpman.
He has voiced a couple other things, I forget what they all are, except for he voiced one of the main, evil dragons in Skyrim. Yeah, he has voiced a couple other very non-Mario style roles in the past decade. They've usually been for video games, I think. Every once in a while, he does something other than Mario.
Senator Phillips does not care a single iota about his bodyguard being maimed. He's just here to, check up on the Camp David Accords or something. I don't know. And we get more mouth violence. Yay!
Yeah, as he's just like, oh, look at you, kids these days, Dio just nonchalantly reaches over and grabs the senator's two front teeth and just rips them out of his mouth.
It's gross. It's bloody.
Now the senator is pissed off as his teeth get pulled out of his face, and he won't take this. Dio just grabs him by the nose and throws him into the front seat and just says, fucking drive the car.
So yeah, Senator Phillips is so upset he starts giving the achievements and awards section of his resume. He talks about how he graduated valedictorian twice and all of these reasons that he's respected and feared.
Yeah.
And Dio doesn't give a fuck.
No, absolutely not. Fucking drive the car.
Which drives him mad. The idea that he would not be respected and deferred to convinces him he's in some sort of dream with no consequences, and his will is entirely bent to Dio's malevolence.
Yeah. I like that usually people are charmed by Dio into becoming servants. This guy just breaks.
Yeah.
He just gets broken so fast and just goes insane.
So he's twisted, he's physically abused, he's thrown into the front. So you are the chauffeur now, Mr. Senator Man.
Yeah.
And driven absolutely insane, which is better than any senator deserves, honestly. we could use more of this in America.
Yeah. Where's Dio when you need him? Dio could do some good work, honestly.
No, the problem here is, frankly, I don't think Mr. Phillips is in a state to drive right now.
No.
But he's gonna anyway.
Yeah. And yeah, so they take off and begin chasing Joseph and Kakyoin.
Meanwhile, Polnareff and JoJo are trying to hotwire a motorcycle. It's not going well because Polnareff is just touching wires together because he's seen it in movies. He knows this is part of it, but it's just not working.
They only have one motorcycle they're trying to hotwire, which makes me think, is JoJo going to ride behind Polnareff on one motorcycle? Because I think they're too big to fit. I think these boys are too burly to fit on one motorcycle together.
We've said that so many times about so many back seats of
It's
cars,
true.
but they always find a way.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, looking at the motorcycle, it is quite a large seat, so...
Anyway, JoJo fixes the motorcycle Fonzie style. He just kicks it real good,
Yeah.
and it revs to life.
Yeah. Now looking at Joseph and Kakyoin, they notice that there is a car following them now. And Joseph's talking about how he can sense when Dio is coming after them because of the bloodline connection to Jonathan's body and the connection all Joestars have. They can just tell when they're kind of nearby, but they can't feel like a precise location or anything. So that also goes for Dio, which means that there's still a way for them to get like an element of surprise on him because there's no like real proximity alert with this JoJo bloodline thing going on.
And like he lays out the sort of mechanics of it. You can sort of sense, but not in a useful way. Like near, but how near is near? I don't know. What direction?
Yeah.
But the good thing is he doesn't know that about us either. It's blah 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 blah.
Yeah. You know, it's a busy time of night. There's a big old traffic jam on the streets right now. And so Dio's caught in a traffic jam. And the senator's just going, hey, there's nowhere else for me to drive. You're telling me to drive, but I can't. And Dio just goes, there's a sidewalk, isn't there? Go there.
When you are Dio, life is GTA.
Yeah. And so the senator's mind breaks even more, and he goes even more insane as he just starts driving on this heavily populated sidewalk.
They do not show him mowing down people,
No.
Which apparently was in the manga. But
Yeah.
But when we see this car in the future, there's a whole lot of blood on the hood regardless.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, the senator's just like cackling and going like, see what I did for you, Lord Dio? You'll spare my life now, right? As he's just like...
His whole thing is like, you couldn't possibly harm a senator. First, I'm such a good servant, but also I'm a goddamn U.S. senator. Like, dude, they kill presidents sometimes.
Yeah, like...
A guy just tried a few years ago.
Yeah. So the car is closing in on Joseph and Kakyoin, and it's close enough now that Kakyoin goes like, you know what, fuck it, and he just shoots Hierophant Green through the rear window of the truck to just blast Dio point blank with an emerald splash.
It doesn't quite work because of his emerald flick technique.
Yeah.
One of the emeralds coming straight for him, Dio just flicks it aside with the finger, and it does the absolute perfect ricochet to essentially create a chain reaction shield that diverts all of the emeralds away from him, completely wrecks the backseat of the car.
Yeah.
But Dio is fine, untouched.
Yeah. Kakyoin thinks, okay, because he did like a wide spread shot, like shotgun blast, basically. So like, okay, I'm just going to do like a concentrated fire, like a dozen gemeralds, all like pinpoint at Dio, and Dio's like, nah, fuck that, and he just uses all 5 fingers to flick the whole blast away. It just shoots straight up and just tears the whole roof of the car off.
So now Hierophant Green and the world are facing off against one another. It's all Kakyoin can do to have his stand escape. But they learn the approximate 10 meter range of the world, and its apparent lack of a ranged attack. It's a Star Platinum style short range punchy stand. They know what they're working with. They know the limits that Dio has.
Yeah,
this was useful, even though the strain of it is causing blood to gush out of Kakyoin's bandaged eyes.
Kakyoin has Hierophant Green had both arms up crossed to block the punch. And he blocked it, but it still fucked him up pretty good just from that single punch. Yeah, they get a decent amount of info from that, so that's pretty useful. Joseph and Kakyoin decide or come to the conclusion that his range is so short that if there is a way to sneak up on him close up and get just one attack in on him, that might be decisive enough to defeat him.
But it turns out Dio does have a ranged attack of sorts.
Yeah,
he uses his flying senator technique.
Yeah, he just picked him up and just fucking chucked him at the truck.
So hard that Senator Phillips goes through the rear window, bonks both of our heroes in the front seat, flies through the front window, and so the car careens, nearly tips over, and side swipes into a building, exploding in a fiery wreck.
Yeah. Dio's out of the car, just doing his just sashaying towards the wreckage of this truck to finish them off. But he looks up to the top of the building this truck is crashing into and sees that both Kakyoin and Joseph are fine. They actually had used both of their stands to basically web sling up to the top of the building. I like this part because both of them figure out they can be Spider-Man. With their stands.
They learned it from watching the OP.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can do that. There's me doing that. So as they, dust themselves off from this wreck and have escaped Dio, at least for the moment, on opposite ends of this very tall building, Kakyoin gets serious, looks to the camera and Joseph and says, I know how to uncover the secret of Dio's stand.
Oh, shit. And he pulls off the sunglasses while he does this, and that's the fucking cliffhanger.
That's it. He knows how to discover this information that has killed their opponents to keep quiet.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the end of episode 45 and of the 3 episodes we're covering today. What do you think of these 3?
This is the ramp up to the finale. Absolutely. It feels grander. It feels more intense.
Yeah.
I feel like if I were watching it week to week, much less reading it, back in 1992, I think we're in 92 now.
Yeah.
The whole cutaway to Japan would have felt really out of place and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But in short binges, it doesn't land that way so much.
Yeah. I feel a similar way with part 5 of JoJo. So when we get to watching that, and we're doing it more than one episode a week, I think that's a show that's also going to feel very different for a similar reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like how everything ramps up to the final fight with Dio. It feels appropriately more intense. The stakes are getting higher. The fights are getting crazier. 2 of the main cast got fucking killed.
Yeah.
Already, it feels real serious, and I really like the direction. Of course, it happens in a similar way in the manga, but the way they animate everything and the direction of seeing Dio's stand power, but having no fucking clue what it actually is really fun. I love the way they direct that stuff. I'm curious because there's so many memes of JoJo and just through cultural osmosis. Do you already know what Dio's stand power is?
I will say I think I do.
Okay.
I'm not certain, but I think I do.
Okay. The final fight with Dio is a pretty fun one. I'm really looking forward to next week, which is the final 3 episodes of Stardust Crusaders.
That's right. We end our watch next week.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting to... Oh my God. So much of our show is Stardust Crusaders.
Yeah.
Right? So much of JoJo is Stardust Crusaders. It's the biggest one, obviously. But looking back as a percentage, I feel like Phantom Blood was just a day or 2.
Yeah.
And that we've been in Stardust Crusaders for an entire year.
Yeah, it really feels like that. Yeah, the next 2 parts have been animated a little shorter than Stardust Crusaders, but not by that much. Only by 10 episodes.
Stardust Crusaders will take roughly 20 episodes of this show.
Oh, wow. Okay. Damn. We joke about, the real JoJo starts here, blah, blah, blah. Part 4 is where JoJo is just super quality from the get-go, basically, and it takes a lot. Mm-hmm. It's not figuring out as much stuff as part 1, 2, and 3 are. But I still really like the ending of part 3 a lot, the ending several episodes. It's just got a certain... I don't know. It's probably one of the final stretches of episodes in JoJo that feels like the most epic, I guess. If it's just this is ramping up to a big fucking cool fight. This is the one you go to for that.
With 2 behind us, the endings are always fantastic.
Yes, yeah.
So I have expectations. I have hopes. I want Polnareff to do something incredible.
Yeah.
To dedicate to Avdol and Iggy. Killing Vanilla Ice already is sort of pays that off, but I'd love to see him do something even more face off against Dio, both for himself and, the burden of his companions that he's carrying now.
Yeah.
And Kakyoin to really prove himself because... Frankly, if you break it down by the numbers, Kakyoin hasn't done a lot.
Yeah, which is a shame because, even though Kakyoin, I also feel aside from Iggy, who's just, a dog.
Avdol has probably done least, but he can't right now. He's dead.
Yeah. I feel like out of all of the main cast, putting Iggy aside, because he's a little different, I feel like Kakyoin is maybe the least defined of all of them, or at least has had the least amount of showing off his character, but whenever he has shown off his character, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
He's the funny goober good boy MILF lover of the group. And I love that.
He spent practically all of Egypt comatose,
Yeah.
And so he was a really hard-fought, almost got him jobber, and I'd love to see him... I don't expect him to kill Dio. I don't think this story ends with Kakyoin killing Dio, but I want to see him do something that's really cool and only Kakyoin could do.
Yeah.
That's my hopes.
Yes, yeah. I just like Kakyoin. I want more of him. Right? And I want more of him that isn't him laying an egg. Which is a thing we'll get to after we finish Stardust Crusaders.
Of course we will.
Kakyoin, did you lay this egg? Is this your egg?
No, it's Nanami's egg. Come on.
Oh, man. Why is that such a common thing?
Everybody is having some interesting conversations in front of the egg lost and found. A lot of misconnections.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am so excited that I'm like, do we have to wait a week? Maybe I can clear my schedule. Maybe we can.
Oh, man, if you want to do it sooner rather than later, I am totally down for that.
I'm hyped. I'm in it. I want to go.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Dio's out. There's no one protecting Dio.
Yeah. Oh, I guess...
We got rid of the loser named Loser. It's just Dio.
Yeah, I guess one more thing to talk about before we're done here. Like, we're finally getting just, like, full-on Dio.
Yes.
Like, the whole series, Dio's in shadow, and now we're just getting him.
You can finally see his face.
I always think it's really fun when Dio is finally out and about and just doing his shit. It almost feels nostalgic.
Yes.
Because, like, part 1 especially feels like it's so far away now. And seeing a character from part 1 just waltzing around, it's kind of cool in a way.
And
I don't know.
Owning the place. Like, everything has this sense of escalation and development, and the whole world is so much bigger and stranger, and all these fighters are so much stronger. Dio doesn't care. Dio will tear you apart, and he does not care.
Yeah, just seeing something from part 1 come back in a way where it's still such a huge, crazy threat, I just love that so much. It is one of my favorite things about JoJo is how it just builds on every single part. And sometimes things from old parts might come back in a way that's really, really fun and interesting because there's such a cool contrast from part 1 and just like a part 1 thing and a part 3 thing. They're both here together. That's a fun contrast.
If Dio weren't pre-existing, you'd think he was made to be against JoJo. Like, because Jotaro's whole thing is his unflappability. And, like, what if someone was just as confident, just as cool, but he was sexy about it? What if he was just as confident and assured all the time, but he actually talked to you?
Yeah. I was going to say something else. Shit, what was it? Nah, it's gone. Thought's gone. Damn it.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about it next week and the week after, because because we're done with Stardust Crusaders doesn't mean we're out of things to say. 2 weeks from now, please expect another special guest as we talk about all of part 3 as a whole, with a special focus on Q4, of course. But you can't talk about the end without talking about the beginning and the middle.
Yeah, totally. I'm excited for these last 3 episodes.
Yes. We are in Dio's world. We're excited. We're hyped. I know you are. Please spread the excitement, spread the love as we destroy this ancient vampire and his mysterious stand to save the 21st century from the evils of the 19th. And we will join you in 1 week's time to see just how JoJo, his grandfather, his best friend, and his other best friend do just that.
All right, to be continued. See you later, everybody.
He actually said it for the first time, I think.
Oh, yep.
It's bloody.
And
Senator Phillips starts
now the senator is pissed off as his teeth get pulled out of his face. And
he's so upset.
He won't take this.
He starts narrating.
And Dio just grabs him by the nose and throws him into the front seat and just says, "Fucking drive the car."
Am I muted? Hello?
Oh, I can't hear you. Did you cut out?
Yeah,
I do not hear you now.
Oh boy.
I can see your Oh. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
That was strange. My computer just muted itself.
Oh, that's going to be a fun part to edit.
Okay. Here. That's around an hour 20?
No. It's just crosstalk. I can take care of crosstalk.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't like it, but I can do it.
Okay.